Hi, I'm Darby. Welcome to my channel. Last night I saw A24 and Alex Garland's newest movie, Civil War. The movie is about a group of photojournalists traveling to Washington, D.C. through a war-torn America because they want to scoop the last interview from the President of the United States before the United States stops existing forever. What a fantastically intriguing premise. But the execution was weirdly vacuous. Civil War the movie is a lot like the HBO show The Last of Us, but with no zombies and no emotional payoff. They both focus on a kind of lone wolf and cub relationship between a mentor and a protege, and you watch the protege lose their innocence over time, and you watch their mentor regain their humanity. But unlike The Last of Us, I just really didn't care about any of the characters in Civil War. I don't know if it's because of the shorter time format, a movie just doesn't let you get to know a character the way that a television show does, or if there was just something in the execution. I get the impression from Alex Garland's interviews that he really wants the movie to be kind of a warning, a message to everyone watching it. You know, you might think you want armed struggle, but here's the reality of it. I also get the sense that the filmmakers didn't necessarily want to date the film by putting in too many references or explaining too much of why or how this Civil War in America happened. But I have another theory that explains maybe why the movie turned out as vapidly as it did. And I would guess that the only way the filmmakers could get access to all those planes, trucks, and helicopters was to go through the Department of Defense. If you're not aware of it, the US Department of Defense has a long-standing history where they will exchange favorable, positive depictions of the US military for access to equipment. I learned about this when I read an article in Jacobin's War is a Racket issue called Hollywood and the Pentagon. It collects some of the funnier rewrites and editing suggestions that the Pentagon has sent to TV and filmmakers. And here's my favorite excerpt from the article. When Jurassic Park 3's producers requested some A-10 Thunderbolts to battle a flying dinosaur, Strub demurred, it would simply make the well-armed aircraft look dishonorable. A flying dinosaur is no match for an A-10, Strub told producers, envisioning a brutal dino massacre. It would only cause the audience to feel pity for the dinosaur. The scene was quickly dropped. There are more gems like this in the article. I highly recommend it. It's a super fast read and it's very entertaining. But yeah, my theory is that to get the look and access to equipment that they wanted, filmmakers had to avoid any strong opinions about politics or ideology. Switching over to books, I am in kind of a reading slump. I am really struggling to finish anything. I made it through 70% of Mayflies, and it is a book that follows a group of friends in Scotland who initially bond over their love of punk rock music. It starts when they're very young and follows them into their old age. I got through 30% of Naked Lunch. It's a very famous book. It's got very dark themes, but it's written in a kind of gritty Hunter S. Thompson, almost humorous way. The subject matter ended up being just a little too difficult for me, but I can see why people like it. It's just not right for me right now. Got about 60% of the way through Cider House Rules, and then I DNF'd it. I enjoyed the first half so much. I feel like I learned a lot about abortion in the first half of the 20th century in the United States. The first half focuses on a medical doctor who sees firsthand why abortion is healthcare and how it can save lives and spare the victims of incest and rape from a terrible, terrible fate. I lost interest when the focus shifted from this doctor in the first half of the book to his younger protege in the second half. It got a little too soap opera for me. It was taking a little too long. It's a super big book. It's like a 24-hour audiobook. And so that's where I DNF'd it. I feel like the most recent book that I've completed is Say Nothing. The author of the book describes it as a nonfiction historical narrative about the Irish Republican Army while they were active from the years 1967 to 1997. Before I read this book, I had maybe only a very superficial understanding of what was happening in Northern Ireland at that time, and I had some fears that the book was going to be very biased and unbalanced, but I think the author did a very good job explaining the circumstances that led to the formation of the IRA and the key moments and conflicts that make up its history. That does it for this week's snack. If you made it this far, here is your gentle reminder to please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.